You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm looking forward to today's part 2 of our Cabral House Calls, which we bring you each and every weekend. So yesterday we answered about 5 or 6 of our community questions on all things wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging, and we're about to do the same today. So as always, if you ever have a question of your own, feel free to write in at stephencabral.com/ask Cabral. This is a completely complimentary service where I try to give back as much as I can and share the knowledge that I've been able to accumulate and learn over the years that's helped so many people in my practice, and I'm happy to share that with you, or at least give you a place to start. That's really where it's all about, is just getting started, taking action, but not just moving forward, taking right action, is doing the things that are really going to get you to your goal the fastest and safest way possible. So that's what we are here to do. Looking forward, like I said, getting started. And today's first question is from Lubos. Lubos writes in, Dr. Cabral, what is the main difference between 23andMe versus the genetic testing you provide via your website? I assume you may have covered this topic before. I'm relatively new to your podcast and to you, but there seems to be no content search functionality on your blog website. Thank you, and thank you for all you do, Lubos. So Lubos, there is actually a content search. The reason it's not on the entire website is that the website is, let's say, 12 years old, and it has thousands and thousands of pages. And if you did a search for this specific website, you could pull up so many different pages that aren't relevant to you. But if you go to stephencabral.com/podcasts, you can type in any search word that you would like, and you'll be able to pull up all of my most recent podcasts on that particular search word. So there's that. And then also, when you go over to the store, stephencabral.com/store, and you're shopping around, you're looking at what we have to offer, what we offer to all of our private wellness clients and body transformation clients, is you can go to anti-aging and just click on the genetic test. And on the genetic test, you'll actually see, and I'll do it myself right now, is that you'll see all the different options that you get with this test. I shouldn't say options. I should say all the different biomarkers that you get. So like I said, you literally just click on the tab anti-aging. You can choose from weight loss, wellness, or anti-aging, or supplements. And the weight loss, wellness, and anti-aging are simply lab tests that you could purchase. Now, the supplements are all the different supplements and different protocols we use specifically with our wellness clients. They're the exact same ones. But when you click on anti-aging, you click genetic DNA wellness package, you'll actually be able to see the product description of what you'll be getting. And it gives you all the different specific biomarkers. And do keep in mind, and as it says, it's a 100-page report. 23andMe, and I'm not going to go in depth on this because you can simply go back to last week's podcast. And I know that you entered your question before I answered this. This was just different. It was on episode 541 or 540, I believe. Simply go to stephencabral.com/podcast, scroll down the page, and you'll see episode 540 or 541. Those are our house calls. That was from last weekend, and I gave the specific difference. Give you a quick recap right now. And again, I believe you should listen to that show if you haven't already done so, is that 23andMe is a great place to get started. It's fun, but it doesn't give you that much information. Meaning, like, I did 23andMe 7 or 8 years ago or so. It was a long time ago. I would say it was 7 years ago. Fine, good. It gave me my ancestry. I'm 1% this and 3% this. It's fun, but that doesn't really matter. Like, to me, that doesn't tell me that much. I wanted to go deeper on my health, and it gives you about a dozen different stats. Okay, that's fine. But again, not what I'm looking for. Now, you can take your 23andMe data and actually run it through third-party softwares, okay? So one, I don't want to give my data to a third-party software. That's all of my, private data based on whether I'm at risk for Alzheimer's or any of those things. And then they'll spit you out a report, but typically then you have to hire a health coach or hire them to read you the report. So with us and with this lab, again, you can do it with anybody. 23andMe is not a functional medicine lab test, okay? That's the bottom line. It's a fun direct-to-consumer lab, not a health practitioner lab. Now, when you do it with a health practitioner, you get essentially this 100-page lab, and it's out of a place out of Australia. They're the absolute best. And then this is the only lab test, at least for right now, at least in 2017, that when you run this lab, it's the only lab on StephenCabral.com that when you purchase it, you actually get a coaching call with myself. You and I speak directly when you run this genetic test. And this genetic test can be done anywhere in the world. And I do my Skype calls with anyone, anywhere in the world. And I do Skype calls in the Middle East, in Australia. And I have a call tomorrow actually in the UK. And I have another one in Canada. And then, of course, we talk all over the US. So anywhere in the world. I've done calls from Israel. I've done calls in Iceland, believe it or not. Literally all over the world. You name it. Argentina done calls. So anyway, that's the gist of it, is that they're just night and day. 23andMe is, it's fine. Great lab. Not great lab. Great company. Nothing bad to say about them. I think they're fantastic. I think they're bringing genetics to the forefront in people's mindset. And for that, I applaud them and I thank them. But when I'm looking at, well, okay, what do we need to really watch out for? There's no comparison. Like it's apples and oranges. It's not even the same fruit. Okay. All right, that's all I can say about that. Let's move on to our next question. And our next question is from Anonymous. Hey, Dr. Cabral, love your podcast daily. Thank you for all the information you provide. I love to learn from you. I found out I have the heterozygous MTHFR 677CT mutation and was wondering if it's necessary for me to consume additional folate besides my daily multivitamin, which already contains 400 milligrams. When I tried additional folate, I got bad reactions such as insomnia and anxiety, so I stopped. But I've read your body needs to go through an adjustment period for compensating for so long with this mutation. Is there any truth to this? Thanks. Okay, so I have this same exact mutation myself. I'm homozygous for that one specifically. So that's even more important that you look at methylation. So when you're heterozygous, you're looking at about a 30% or so possible occlusion. Now this is very important to talk about. So whenever you are homozygous, okay, I need to step back for 1 second and just explain this for people who don't know. When you are heterozygous for something, it means you have one copy of that gene. And if you're homozygous, you have the identical copies, or you have both copies of that gene, which means that both your parents passed on that MTHFR basically gene. Now, I don't want to get overly complicated today. I did speak about this before on a Cabral House call and podcast about the MTHFR mutation, but let's just say that someone who has this is more prone to inflammation. That's the easiest way to say this specifically right now. Okay, so if you're heterozygous, you're, again, about 30% likelihood that you will be low in specific B vitamins, such as B12 and folate, but also, which a lot of people don't know, it's B6 as well, because B6 helps potentiate the actions of those other two. Okay, now, if you're homozygous, you have a 70% chance of you not being able to fully methylate those B vitamins. However, all of this does have to do with toxicity, heavy metals, gut bacteria, the microbiome, your immune system balance. It has to do with a lot of different things, meaning that you should never, in my opinion, supplement with extra, meaning like extra supplements. If we talk about supplements, what's the word supplement? Supplement means to add to or use in place of something that's missing. So when I say use a daily activated multivitamin or the daily nutritional support powder that we recommend, we're doing that because we are supplementing the lack of vitamins and minerals in our food. I eat organic. There's no doubt about it. I mean, like, that's just what I do. I'm willing to pay the money for it. I just take the money from another part of my life and I put it towards organic food. It's no longer even a thought for me. People say, well, it costs another $50 per week. Yes, it does. There's no doubt about that. You know, because we eat a lot of berries and so those are expensive. And, you know, the greens, maybe it's not $50 a week, but, you know, it's somewhere between $30 and $50 a week extra for that. And so let's say it's $120 or so, $150, $200 per month. Again, it's not a small amount of money, but I just take that from another area of my life that I'm willing to cut back in because I'm not willing to get the disease from eating pesticides and these heavy metals and all the stuff that's sprayed on crops. So anyway, I digress talking about that topic, but that's why we use the activated multi and the daily nutritional support powder. And of course, I recommend the daily fruit and vegetable blend. And the reason is that even when you're eating this great organic food, I'm not going to lie, the soil doesn't have as many of the nutrients and vitamins and enzymes and bacteria and minerals that it had just in the 1960s. And that's the truth. It doesn't even have what it had 30, 40 years ago. And that's looking at soil composition. This is not difficult. You can actually get soil from your backyard and mail it into a lab, and they will look at the soil composition. They will show you the minerals. You could do this with any farm you want in the world, and you will see what the levels were in the early to mid 1900s versus now. Okay. Even organic farms, they're not doing crop rotation. I don't want to get too deep into this because I love this type of stuff, but I'm not sure everybody else does. So when you look at crop rotation, you don't give the fields enough time to recover. So there's no longer that like 3-field rotation of crops, meaning like 2/3 is being used, 1/3 isn't, then we keep rotating the crops. We're not using as much actual manure. We're not using all of the things that we need to add more minerals back to our soil. We're using a lot of synthetics, or we're just adding nitrogen to the soil, those types of things. So keep in mind, just because the food looks the same, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's as mineral rich. And you can taste the difference. You taste a real heirloom tomato. Put that against one of those bright red tomatoes you see in a supermarket that taste like basically nothing. There's a huge difference. Heirloom tomatoes are amazing. Even with someone like myself who has some nightshade sensitivities, all that goes out the window. I'm happy to eat heirloom tomatoes, maybe once a week or so during that peak season because they're absolutely fantastic. So often a big tangent there, which sometimes happens, but anonymous, what would I recommend? Well, what I would recommend is whenever you get that brain fog, you get the insomnia, you get the anxiety, you use too much. And I don't believe there is an adjustment period to that. I do believe that your body has to get maybe used to it, but I only believe that it needs what it needs. So what I would do is make sure that you're taking that multi that has a methylfolate or nature folate, which is what we offer and recommend, and that when you're using the additional folate, which is methylfolate, again, 5-MTHFR, if you're looking at the back of the label, or again, the brand called Nature Folate, which is the methylated version, you ease into that. And if it's a tablet, you'll use 100 milligrams extra, 200. That's why I like our Active B vitamin. And the reason why I like that so much is that I look for that specifically. Try finding a B complex with 50 milligrams basically of everything, but only 200 micrograms of that folate. That's what I did. That's what I looked for. That's why it took so long for us to get that out there to people. So that's what I recommend. Personally, I would do your daily activated multi or your daily nutritional support shake, and then I would do one of the activated B complex that we offer. We'll put that up. We'll link it up on the website. Simply go to stephencabral.com/548 for today's show. The other thing I'll say is this. If you're not having any issues, meaning like you don't have any real inflammation, you don't have any brain fog, you don't have any fatigue, you don't have any of these things, you don't need to take extra B vitamins just because you have that MTHFR gene mutation. I spent a long time on that question. Hopefully that helps. Aileen is up next. Hi there. You mentioned in a recent podcast that dairy definitely feeds cancer, not causes, but feeds the growth of cells when you have it. So definitely feeds cancer, correct. A friend's sister cancer has metastasized, and her doctor said dietary changes aren't important, but exercise is. Can you speak to the research behind this so I can send her in the right direction? Couldn't find any clean examples online. Thank you. I'll be sure to review on iTunes. I don't listen to any podcasts other than yours, and they're so informative. Aileen, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. If you're only listening to one podcast and you listen to the Cabral Concept, that means a great deal to me. It really does. And I take my answers, how I respond to you, really seriously. So when I was reading all of these questions over before I started today, usually I don't need to look for any research or anything like that. But of course, I had to and wanted to for you, because although I've read dozens and dozens of studies linking dairy to cancer, I just want to pull up one specifically for you. Okay, here's all you need to know though. This is literally what you need to know. Sometimes we try to look at things on too small a microscopic level. Think of things on a macro level. Anything that increases IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor 1, anything that increases that is going to cause an anabolic effect in the body. Anything that causes an anabolic effect in the body has the potentiation, I don't know if that's a word, but we'll use it today, to grow or metastasize cancer cells. Okay? And you can look at this, and they do this actually with Petri dishes in a lab as well. So, I mean, this is very straightforward, but I'm going to link this up for you, and then you can feel free to send it to your friend. Now, I would just search PubMed or I'd search Google Scholar. Those are easy things because I just literally typed in, I don't know what the exact search term was, but it was just one of the top ones that came up. Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Okay. So I'm just going to read this to you. I'm going to do it pretty quick, but I'll read it to you and you'll literally have your answer. So recent scientific studies have suggested that dairy products may be linked to an increased risk for prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and possibly for ovarian and breast cancer. Prostate cancer has been linked to dairy products in several studies. A Harvard physician's health study, including more than 20,000 male physicians, those who consumed more than 2 dairy servings daily, had a 34% higher risk for developing prostate cancer than men who consumed little or no dairy products. Several other studies have shown the same thing. It goes on to talk about how IGF-1 is one of the reasons why, and also calcium. When you increase calcium, it can actually lower your stores of vitamin D. A lot of people don't know that, but vitamin D and calcium have an inverse ratio is not the right word, but they have an inverse relationship. So when you take in too much vitamin D, it actually pulls calcium from your bones. When you take in too much calcium, then it lowers your levels of activated vitamin D. Okay, let's move back onto the article. For ovarian cancer, galactose, a component of milk, sugar, lactose, has been under study as a possible culprit. A recent analysis of studies examining a relationship between dairy product consumption and ovarian cancer found that for every 10 grams of lactose consumed, the amount in 1 glass of milk, ovarian cancer increased by 13%. Well, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but basically it found that those who ate more whole grains, vegetables, fruits, they use soy, but again, we're not proponents of soy, are generally in better health, have less breast cancer, and it's much rarer in the United States than in Europe. So here's the thing. Also, the book, The China Study, whether you love it or hate it, again, I can go back and forth on it. I can make good examples, meaning that you can't just say someone should follow a vegan-based diet because of the China study. And again, I'm not against a vegan-based diet at all, and I can get behind it without a doubt for a lot of people. As long as they're healthy, good. Then I'm happy that they can promote that as well. But in the China study, it was pretty clear that those who increase dairy consumption increase cancer. There's tons of studies out there. These studies specifically are very straightforward. Any of the prostate, ovarian, breast cancer, without a doubt, is linked to cancer when dairy consumption has gone up. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It's from Angela. Angela is asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. I wanted to start by saying thank you for everything you do and for the accessible and unmatched information you offer through the best podcast out there. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate that. My question is regarding my mom's eyes. About a month ago, her eyes have started to tear throughout the day. They're not itchy or red, but have a sticky residue in the morning, can be puffy, and they have a crusty deposit around the tear ducts. She's used antibiotic drops that did not help. She had a bad case of pink eye about a year ago, which was treated by antibiotic drops, which seemed to help. She has allergies to pollen and cats as well as asthma. I've suggested to her that her sensitivities to histamines could be a cause, and she has switched her face cream to argan oil. Any suggestions would help. Thank you for your time. Is greatly appreciated, Angela. So, Angela, this is most likely allergies of some type. Now, it could be environmental. So you have to, here, I'm just going to give you a bunch of things to look at, right? Because it could be so many different things, and it could be a few odd things, which I'll mention too. So it could be the change of the season. You have to look at that. It could be a change of location. Did she move? Did she move homes? Did she move apartments? Did she get a new carpet put in? Is she using a new cleaner? How about a new fabric softener? Any of those things that she's wearing on her body or coming in contact to could be it. Now look as well, when she leaves the house, is she okay? When she comes back in the house, does she tear up more? Then it's probably something in the house. We have to look at all of these different things. There's also a change in climate, meaning going from your house to outside. Some people tear up. Now that's a change in pressure, a change in climate, a change in heat. Those are all sensitivities as well. All basic histamine, cytokine, mast cell, IgE, IgM, IgG-based reactions. This is more IgE, IgM-based, most likely. I would absolutely look at histamines. I would personally run our food sensitivity test. Remember, whenever I say our, it's not ours. We have a lab runs these things. So The food sensitivity is called an IgG food sensitivity test. She can do it right at home. Highly recommend that. What should she use on her eyes? Well, for pink eye, for my own daughters, for myself, for anybody, I recommend colloidal silver spray. That is what I recommend. We'll link that up in the show notes. For the argan oil for the face is great. Some people can use different types of shea butter for the body. You can use a carrot seed, vitamin C type mixture for the face. Those are all great as well. So definitely look at the foods, look at what's changed. If this just came on, you have to ask yourself a week or two before this came on or so, maybe even a couple days before, what changed? You have to really look back, look into that. And then for now, at least, try to ramp up a little bit more vitamin C. Highly recommend that because it's a natural anti-inflammatory. I shouldn't say that. It's a natural antihistamine. And I would also look at our allergy protocol on stevencabral.com/store because that will help cut down with all of the other histamine-based issues as well. Try that out. It doesn't have to be a forever thing. She could use that for 6 to 12 weeks and she'd be good to go. All right. Hopefully that helps and that you get your answer. Anita is up next, and Anita might be our last question of the day. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I listen to your podcast every day. You are truly amazing because of all the knowledge and help you give so many people. I'll give you my history in as little words as possible here. I've been vegan for over 4 years. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables and some grains. I probably eat more sugar than I should by means of dark chocolate. I don't eat gluten because I have celiac. I'm 50. I'm depressed, anxious, and exhausted all at the same time. I get bladder infections almost every time my husband and I are intimate, although since you have suggested probiotics, I haven't had one for a month now. Great job, Anita. My joints are incredibly sore, all of my body, especially my hands, feet, hips, and shoulders. I take 50 billion probiotics with 8 strains because I believe from everything you have taught me, I have leaky gut. I also have GERD, IBS, and fibroids in my uterus. I wonder if I have yeast overgrowth. I ordered your Dr. Cabral 3-week detox, and we'll be starting that soon as it gets here. Dr. Cabral, if you give me any advice specific to my situation, I'd be forever grateful, as I've been living in the state for many years and affecting my personal and professional life in a very bad way. Thank you for all you do. Okay, you were on the right track. No doubt about it, you're on the right track. Here's the issue. You have what sounds like systemic full body inflammation. And yes, that can be exacerbated by sugar. It's not the only thing, but yes, it can be exacerbated by that. Okay, so you're on the right track. The reason I say that is I can't recommend enough the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox. If you're on the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox, by the end of that, if you're feeling a great reduction in pain in the hands, feet, hips, and shoulders, you know that it was inflammation overload, total toxic, total body burden, all right? You've lowered that now using the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox. I can't recommend that enough for anyone who's listening right now, anyone who's struggling from anything. That's the starting point. That indoctrinates you into a healthier style of eating, to lowering your total toxic load, to learning how to start using shakes for breakfast, eating lighter for the first half of the day, all of those things, giving your body all the nutrients that it needs. After that, I would run an organic acid test, or I'd run the organic acid test right now for leaky gut. That would be my opinion. Run it for Candida, run it for SIBO. If you have it, you have to take care of it. It's easy to do. It's not an issue. If you have it, you'll take the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. You'll finish that up by healing and sealing the gut wall with our healthy gut support powder. You do that and you'll be good as new. I mean, I honestly believe that. And it's because I help so many people in your same exact position. So when you get bladder infection, you get all these things, you think about it, you look at it, well, it's overall inflammation. Sure, but it's also potentially bacteria, yeast, and proteins escaping from your gut wall. And again, you can put more good probiotics in there, and that's not necessarily always a bad thing. That's typically a good thing to do. However, if we have too much, if we have an abundance, we want to clean house first, and then we'll add back in the good stuff. Again, I think you're doing the right thing if you're using the daily probiotic support. If you're not using our daily probiotic support, I don't necessarily know what brand it is, and I can't necessarily get behind it because it might have dairy in it as well. Ours is a dairy-free low histamine, which is certainly going to help, and it's more small intestinal bacteria strain loaded, which is what I recommend for everyone to keep that small intestine clean. I mean, that's really what it's meant to do. So yes, you're on the right path. No doubt about it. You're doing great. So that is what I recommend. Let me get one more question. One more question today is from Laura. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Great information in all of your podcast. I'm a health coach and I've used your Doctor Cabral detox protocol on myself and others with great results. My question is regarding a special client of mine. This person has majority of their colon removed. She has just enough left so she doesn't have to have a bag. I want her to do a detox protocol, but she is worried about the fiber intake and problems with her lack of colon. What would you recommend as a detox protocol for this client? Does she still need to take some sort of fiber binding agent, or is she okay to just let things come out, so to speak? LOL, thank you so much for all of your wonderful information and health advice. Okay, thanks, Laura. Appreciate you writing in, and you're doing obviously a great service to your clients by helping them with nutrition, supplements, all that great stuff. So keep up the good work. Here's the deal. This is pretty easy to answer. The Doctor Cabral detox, although it's a specific regimen of the first 2 days of doing 4 shakes per day, which anybody can do. You can handle that. And then you're doing days 3 through 7. Again, all this information is just at drcabraldetox.com. Check out the site. You don't have to buy anything. You can just see exactly how we do it and see if it's right for you. So I'll link it up in today's show notes as well. Just go to stephencabral.com/548. But here's the thing. It comes with a meal plan creator, meaning it's this mini brochure. We listen to all the feedback from everyone out there, meaning that if someone has great feedback, we're going to implement it. And one person, or I should say multiple people, asked us, can you create a little mini brochure besides the big 8.5 and 11 that was coming in there that I could put in my pocket and take with me? That's exactly what we did. We love the advice. We love it. I mean, it's for everyone. It's for our community. It's not for us. I know how to do it, but for people out there who, first or second time, I know people do it typically every quarter, but you want to just be able to ease into it. So, I even tell people this. Let me get to the creator. So basically, it allows you to pick a vegan protein for lunch and or dinner, or paleo-based protein as well, vegetarian, whatever you'd like for dinner. Then you pick the vegetables that you want. You pick all the acceptable foods and the fats, and you basically get to create your own meal plan. So you can create less fiber-based vegetables. And there's a lot out there, meaning that you don't have to eat big salads for lunch. You could do cooked carrots. You could do cooked asparagus. You could do any one of those things that you would like, and they can be less so. So yeah, you can absolutely customize it. Just choose the foods that are on the list, and there's not even a limit. So it says 1 to 2 cups of vegetables per meal, 1 to 2 tablespoons of good fat per meal, about a cup or so of protein. But let's say you weigh 200 plus pounds, you could add more. We're trying to get people to eat healthier, to follow these detox-based foods. And that's basically the bottom line. Now, a lot of people say, well, I can't do the days 1 and 2, the 4 shakes per day. I'm not ready for that. Fine, don't do it. That's totally okay. Use the days 3 through 7 meal plan and just start there. Just make it from days 1 to 7 instead of days 3 to 7. And there's still plenty of protein powder. You're going to be able to do it. All the supplements are all inclusive. Here's the thing. Always come up with more solutions than problems, right? That's the whole thing. Is you just need to get started. You just need to move forward. You can always make it work. Customize it a little bit. Doing it 80% of the way is still going to be better than doing it 0%, right? That's the biggest thing I tell people is just get moving, get started. You can't even figure it out until you even get moving, and you'll figure it out along the way. So just do it, get into it. Okay, it wasn't perfect the first time. The second time is going to be a whole lot better. By the third time you do it, you're going to be perfect. It's going to be easy to do, easy to implement. It's like that for pretty much everything in life. So thank you for tuning into another Cabral Concept. Appreciate each and every one of your listens, of course. And I hope that you tune in tomorrow for our Motivation and Mindset Monday. We've got a great story to share with you tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to talking with you then. Take care. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.